Hi, my name's Dan Corbett, and I'm the managing partner of Black Iron Group. I'd like to talk to you today about the advantages of using Salesforce integrated with Procede, your DMS, as an all-encompassing, data-driven CRM tool for you. But first, a quick shameless plug. So, this year we celebrated taking our 2,000th customer live with Salesforce. We're super proud of that. We're a Salesforce certified integration partner and have been for the last 17 years. There are 19 of us up and down the East Coast. Our offices are in Fairfield, Connecticut, which is about an hour outside of New York City. We are well versed in trucking dealerships. We understand the nuances of the trucking business and can help you see the benefits of a Salesforce solution for your dealership. And we understand DMS data like no one else. Integrating to any system requires specific knowledge of the data being integrated, from inventory to sales, parts, or repair orders, and we've got the ability to help you do that. Data can help your dealership find, win, and keep customers. Procede data helps dealerships use data like never before. Allocation uses data to decide what vehicles to take into inventory and when. Service uses it to manage the parts inventory and to bill customers. And finance uses it to manage forecasts and manage cash. But connecting that data to Salesforce takes you to a whole new level. Salesforce, in combination with the Procede data, gives your sales or service reps powerful, usable data anytime, anywhere. And Proceed's API gives us access to all kinds of great DMS data in both directions. We can capture inventory or write inventory, capture sales orders or write sales orders, look at repair orders or write repair orders, and all the invoice kind of information that comes along with that. We can use inventory data to communicate to customers about new vehicles, using a database of their preferences to help drive some of those alerts. And we can even build some of those alerts into the system using a tool called Flow, so that we can alert customers to pending service needs or the ability to based on the fleet age, to suggest when a new vehicle may be right for the customer. And using that data and using the power of Salesforce can help us track and land more deals. Once we understand the sales landscape, Salesforce can help us manage that quote process to close more deals. Quoting out of Salesforce allows us to store prospect data where it belongs, inside of your CRM system. Listen, deals happen fast, and there are a lot of them. Salesforce can help us prioritize and analyze and manage all of that information in one place, reminding our reps to reach out, offering helpful tips on how to close deals, and using the data from the DMS to help describe the sales and revenue potential and, I guess, existing numbers to your customers and to your sales reps, all inside of your tool or on your phone as you carry around in your pocket. We've worked with a lot of trucking dealerships, but today I want to kind of take a very simplistic approach to how the data can move back and forth. I'd like to walk through a scenario where a sales rep is kind of getting familiar with Salesforce, and he or she is alerted to a new vehicle via Flow, Salesforce's workflow engine. The rep then looks up those customers, see where we are with that data, and alerts those customers to the new inventory. The rep analyzes historical sales about that customer so that they've got a good impression of what's happening. When they go on site to meet with that customer, they're armed with all that information. And if they forgot something, they've got all that information right in their pocket and their mobile device. And finally, that information is recorded in the system, both as an opportunity and as an activity, so that we've got a institutional version of all the things that have happened with that customer for everybody else to see as well. So let's take a look. All right, so here you can see a example of what a home page can look like inside of the Salesforce tool. Now, this is the desktop version of it. We'll show you the mobile version here in a second, but this gives you a view of kind of what a sales rep or an executive would see in the system as we line up. Tabs across the top kind of indicate functionality in the tool. Most of the time you'll be using search, and I'll show you that here in a second. These dashboard panes allow us to kind of get very specific to that particular rep. So that rep is going to know his closed business, his top accounts, her activities, her open leads, their pipeline, their leads that are open in the system, and all that data is presented to them the minute they sign on right into Salesforce, so that they've got it, and it's updated daily so that they can see the latest, greatest of that information. COVID changed a lot, But one thing it didn't change is that most sales reps are road warriors and need to be out with the customers to be able to help them understand what new innovations are happening in the trucking business and how to sell and close more deals on those trucks or parts or repairs. I'm going to use Salesforce's search engine to kind of go find a record in the system. You can use anything, and you notice as I start to type this, Salesforce does me a favor and finds anything it thinks is going to match across the objects or across the tables inside of Salesforce, making it real easy for me to see this information and kind of go right into the system. Once I'm here, I've separated things across the top into tabs. I can see the basic information about my customer. I can see all of the activity that I've got here in the system over on the right-hand side, although this could be moved to the left if you want. I can see the contacts that I work with, all the different people who work here. I can see all of my opportunities in the systems and my sales orders that came in from Procede. I can see my service issues as they exist out there and my work orders. I can see the assets that this customer automatically already owns from us and kind of get a picture of what that looks like. And finally, under analytics, I get a graphical representation of what's happening at this customer. Procede data is great to kind of look at in tabs like we saw in the sales and service tabs. But if you want to see that information graphically represented in something that makes sense to you, Salesforce can help us draw that out on the system, making it easy for the reps to quickly understand what's going on. All right, so I want to go visit Marcus Dairy on my next road trip to wherever I'm going, and I want to know more information about this customer before I go. You'll notice that sales as an extension of parts, repairs, trailers, and vehicles are looking pretty good, but tankers, for a milk company, is notoriously low, and I think this is something that we can focus on. So just knowing kind of where we are, that we're loading up regular dry trailers, that we're loading up normal vehicles, and we've got parts and repairs business kind of there, this is the area I want to focus on as I go to see Marcus Dairy. In addition, I kind of know what my margin looks like. It's obviously taken a turn for the better in the last few months, and so probably this doesn't necessarily require action, but you'll notice here in early 2021, margins were pretty thin on this. And so this kind of gives me ability to sort of understand where I am at the margin level so that I can understand and address any of that as I go out and try to make the deals that I'm making for the particular devices. You'll notice under the contacts that I've got all the different people working here. And if I click into Lauren's record, for example, I can see all of the things that I've talked with her about over the years as well, or over the months as well. You can see that I have a sales call coming up today with her, that I've got a follow-up on a quote, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. But also I've got different kind of things. I've got an on-site meeting coming up. It's actually scheduled for today, but that's demo org. I've got calls, I've got emails that are flowing in from my Outlook or my Gmail accounts automatically to load up into Salesforce. And all of the things that I've talked to her about are represented in this nice, easy to understand, we call it an activity timeline, so that I can see what I've said to Lauren and have that information in the system. So let's go see her and let's record the call. Okay, so looking at the phone version of Salesforce, you start to very quickly see that it's identical, except you get to carry it in your pocket. If I do a quick search for Lauren here by clicking on the search function, I can then go in and find Lauren quickly in the system and see all of the same information I was looking at on the desktop. I can see all of the activity that I have. I can see any of the related data that I have in the system, and it's all sort of put together for me in a very easy way to capture it. But there's a couple of things that we want to do on the road very quickly. The first is we want to be able to see what the sales sort of information looks like at this customer. So to easily get to that information, I click on Marcus Dairy here, and it brings me to essentially a picture of the same page we were looking at on the desktop. And if I roll down, there's my sales by account by category that we've already looked at on the desktop, and you can see that information right here in the system. As a quick point, we're going to go through our sales call with the customer, and at the end of that, we want to record what we've said and what our next steps are. So let's do that quickly. Back at Lauren's record, I have a couple of different functions I can do here across the top. The first one I'm going to do is log a call. The system's going to come up for me and ask me how the call went. Well, I'm going to click into that box and then use speech to text to tell the system what I did. Call went great, comma, very interested in working with us, period. Looking for new Kenworth this year, period. Need to get spec sheets to this customer ASAP. All right, when I save that, that call has been logged. That's both in the desktop and on the mobile version. So when I go back and look at the activity timeline, you'll be able to see that in the system and kind of put that together. Another cool feature that I can use here in the system is what's called a post. And if I click into this, I can take a picture and send information out to the system. So I'm going to take a picture of my monitor because that's all I've got. I'm going to load that information into the system, and then I'm going to app mention a couple of people. I'm going to app mention Ralph, and maybe I'm going to app mention, let's app mention Lamar. And once I've got that information, I'm going to do essentially the same thing I just did. Guys, check out the showroom floor of this imaginary customer. And when I post that, that information is going to show up in the system, and it's also going to go directly to those two reps in the system so they can see what I'm seeing. Back in the system, that information came in, and I've got it here in the system in my activity timeline, and under chatter, I've got all information so the users can see it and even see the picture. We've taken a micro look at this at the individual account level. Let's finally take a look at the macro level in dashboards. Dashboards is where all of this data really comes together. We can take that information Procede and start to draw out some of the useful information about sales by rep, sales by class, sales by account by category, and I can take the information from Procede and mix it with my typical CRM data, like what my opportunities look like, what my leads look like, what my calls look like, and maybe what my neglected ops look like. I've got gross margin information in the system. I've got information at the category level. And if I click into any of these reports, I can even see some sophisticated analysis at both the category level, in this case, the rep, and this year, last year summaries. So I can start to get a picture for how we're looking this year, last year by month. I could do this by quarter or even by year and start to get a feel for how this data is kind of affecting the entire business. Essentially, this gives us the ability to tie these two systems together, take the data that's working for us in DMS, multiply it and enhance it with CRM data, and put all that together. So where to go from here? We'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us, Black Iron Group, by sending us an email at info@blackirongroup.com or by calling or texting me at 203-984-9087. You can also reach directly out to your Procede or your Salesforce rep and let them know you heard this on the video. Thanks for your time. Looking forward to talking to you.